The advantage in prison. The advantage in prison. So when people wondering, what do you mean by the advantage in prison? Just take your time to listen to me today. And I trust God that this word will change your life forever. Several years ago, 2016 precisely, I had the privilege of going to minister to certain people in the prison. And I did that for like 1 year. I can still remember. And I kept going every Monday. I would go there, minister to them, preach the word of God to them. And I realized that prison is a place that nobody wants to go. It's a place where nobody will pray and, just want to go and spend some time in prison. It doesn't happen that way. But somehow, people have to go to prison. Some don't commit any offense. The prison is a place where your life is on hold. The prison is a place where all your dreams and your plans have to be kept for a while. Just imagine if someone is in prison for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It means all their life is on suspension. Their life is suspended. It's a place where nothing is happening. And that was the story of this man in the Bible called Joseph. This man found himself in the prison, not because he committed an offense. Not because he did something wrong. Not because he was a criminal. He wasn't a criminal. He did nothing wrong. He was kept in prison for over 2 years for an offense he did not commit. And if you read the story of this man towards the end of his life, he said certain things that gives us this understanding that his journey into the prison was an advantage eventually. Now listen very carefully. It wasn't God that took Joseph to the prison. It wasn't God that took him to the prison. But God used that experience as an advantage for him. It wasn't God's plan. It wasn't God that took him there. But God used that experience to bring something good, something awesome out of the life of Joseph. Now, when I say prison, in our context today, we're using it, metaphorically. We're saying you could find yourself in a life experience where you don't like, a place where you didn't plan to be there. You find yourself on a job that looked like a prison. You find yourself in an experience where it seems your life is on hold. It seems nothing is happening in your life. You feel things are not as fast as you have wanted them to be. That's what we mean by a prison experience today. And I've come to let you know there's an advantage in that position. There's an advantage in that state of life that you find yourself. In Genesis chapter 50 and verse 20, these are the words of Joseph. He said, "But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." Eventually, several years after the brothers of Joseph came to the land of Egypt, they met their brother, and after several encounters, he revealed himself to them. And these were the words that came in. Now, the first advantage that we see in the life of Joseph in the prison, that the prison was a place of preparation for him. The prison was a place of preparation for him. Now, the man who wins the boxing championship, now I want to listen to me carefully. The man who wins the boxing championship did not begin in the ring. When you see a man fight in the ring, maybe wrestling or boxing, that process did not begin in the ring. It began somewhere that nobody knew the man. Nobody saw the man. He must have been fighting for years where he was not even paid any salary for it. And so the expression in the ring was a manifestation of what took place behind the scene. And so it's important for us to realize this, that God will use dark and hidden places to prepare people for where he has prepared for them in life. God will use dark, of course, a prison is a dark and hidden place, okay? And so God will use the dark and the hidden places to prepare people for where he has prepared for them in life. So your current season of life, where you are today, that might look as if, what am I doing here? How long will this last? is a place of preparation. It's a place that God will bring forth the best He has ordained for your life. And so for Joseph, it was the house of Potiphar, of course, the prison that God used to prepare him for the palace. Potiphar's house, the prison, prepared him for the palace. Now, you will notice carefully in the story of Joseph that he was the son that was so loved by his father. He was a son of his old age. It was a son that the father so cherished so much. So that means when he was in his father's house, there's a possibility he wasn't washing plates. There was a possibility he wasn't doing domestic work because he had many brothers. And so perhaps in those days he was just there playing, enjoying himself. And there was no way he would have become what he saw in his dream. Now don't forget, when he had a dream, he saw himself becoming a leader. If he had stayed in his father's house, he may not have been developed to become a leader. So he needed an experience that would prepare him. And so the experience in the prison prepared him for that opportunity. His administrative ability found expression in the prison. Everything was committed into the hand of Joseph in the prison. And so his administrative capacity was prepared in the prison. And that was exactly what they did eventually in the palace. And so that's what we refer to as the prison advantage. Where you are today is a place where you have the opportunity to prepare for tomorrow. You have the opportunity to prepare for what God has prepared for you ahead in life. Inside the prison, he was so cheerful to recognize the sad countenance of the baker and the butler. He eventually helped in the interpretation of their dream. Now, it's so important that there is no restriction to where God can reveal himself. Listen carefully. There is no restriction to where God can reveal himself and his plans for our lives. The discovery of God's purpose and plan for our lives mostly will take place in unexpected places and circumstances. You need to note this, that the revelation of God's plan for your life, the unfolding of the purpose of God for your life, most of the time will take place in unexpected places and unexpected circumstances. And who could have known that Joseph will begin to interpret dreams inside the prison? And that was how the journey began from. There was no account of ever interpreting dream for anybody. Yes, he had his own dream, which he interpreted for himself, but there was no account of ever interpreting dream for anybody before that time. And so when they got to the prison, he had the opportunity to interpret dreams for the servants that he met in the prison. And that prepared him for the ultimate revelation that happened in the palace. So number one advantage that we saw in the prison is that the prison prepared him. Then the second advantage that we see in the prison is that the prison was a place of discovery. The prison was a place of discovery. The negative circumstances of life can become the birthplace of destiny. The negative circumstances of life can become the birthplace of destiny. Maybe you're working for someone today and you're not enjoying the job. Maybe you're working for an organization somewhere. If you have the right attitude, where you are today can become the place of discovery for you. It's a place where you discover the potential that are hidden in your spirit, the potentials that God has packaged for your destiny. And so the prison was a place of preparation, and the prison was a place of discovery. With the right disposition to adversity, the best of our lives can come out of it. With the right disposition to adversity, with the right disposition to negativity, the best of our lives can come out. The worst conditions of life can work out to our greatest advantage. The Bible says, and we know that all things work together for good, for them that love God, for them who are called according to his purpose. And so the worst conditions of life can work out for our advantage. It's important that you understand this. Whatever you may be going through right now, keep yourself open and connected to God. It was not God that took Joseph to the prison, like I said at the beginning, but God used it as an opportunity to orchestrate his life and his destiny. Joseph's relevance became obvious in the prison. Understand this clearly. He met these two men, and if you notice that story, after he interpreted dreams for these two men, they did not pay him nothing. He was not paid for it. And of course, after they left the prison, they forgot him in the prison. They came back after several years to remember him in the prison. And so, Joseph's relevance became obvious in the prison. Where you are now may not be good, but it can be the starting point of a great future. That is the good news today. That where you are today may not be good, but it can be the beginning, the starting point of a great future. And so I want to say to you today, you are not disadvantaged. Christ takes away that concept that I'm at disadvantage. Christ in you is the hope of glory. So you are not disadvantaged in life. The hand of God is working out the details of your life and your destiny. That places is a place where God is preparing you. It's a place for your discovery. It's a place where the best of God for your life is coming out. Now, I want you to consider this. That Joseph was in the prison, but the prison was not inside him. Very important. Note my words. Joseph was in the prison, but the prison was not inside him. You need to write it down somewhere. Joseph was in the prison, but the prison was not inside him. His external condition did not become an internal disposition. What was happening around him did not happen inside him. Listen carefully. What happened to you is not as important. What happened to you is not as important as what happens inside you. What happened to you is not as important as what happened inside you. Your external condition must not become an internal disposition. You must understand that concept in your journey of life. No matter what you are going through, it mustn't become an internal disposition. No matter what is happening in your life, it should not become an internal experience. Yes, I understand that circumstance of life might have thrown you a lot of things, but be careful. Don't allow it to become an internal disposition. And so in the worst scenario of life, we can locate a way out as long as we don't allow it to condition our mindset. The purpose of God can be revealed in the midst of a terrible job. The purpose of God can be revealed in the midst of a terrible relationship. A disappointment in life can be the birthplace of a great destiny. A disappointment in life can become the birthplace of a great destiny. A mess can become a message. A mess can become a message. So the first advantage that we saw in the prison was that the prison was a place of preparation. Number two, the prison was a place of discovery. And number three, the prison was a place of connection. Connection to God and connection to man. Very vital. Now, when you are in the prison, your movement is restricted. When you're in the prison, you have all the time to yourself. So that means Joseph had the opportunity and the privilege to spend more time with God. We're just assuming. Why? Because we know that in the prison, he was restricted. In the prison, he had time to himself. So he had time to spend with God. He had time to commune with God. There was a place of connection. And as he connected to God, things began to be revealed in his life as an individual. It was a place where his individuality became obvious. Individuality is doing what is unique to you in your God-given unique way. Listen carefully. We said by that divine connection, he began to see this is individuality. And I said, individuality is doing what is unique to you in your God-given unique way. Individuality is the key to standing out in life. If you don't discover, develop, and deploy your individuality, you may get lost in the sea of humanity. And so, number one, you must discover, you must develop, and you must deploy your individuality. And so, the prison was a place where, by his connection to God, he discovered his individuality. And that brought him out of the prison. Of course, he also connected to those that introduced him to the palace. And so these are the prison advantage. Your prison experience must not become a waste. Your pain must not be wasted. All things work together for good. The negative experiences of life can become the ingredients of a great destiny. The things you have gone through can become the ingredients of producing the purpose of God for your life. Your story is not wasted. The challenges you have gone through is not wasted. God is at work in you. The Bible says, for he is at work in us, both to will and to do of his good pleasure. I've come to let you know today that your life is on course. God has a plan and a purpose for your life. Your life is not accidental. Your life is not a mistake. It doesn't matter what happened in your background. Your back must not be in the ground. It doesn't matter what happened in your background. Your back must not be in the ground. It's time to rise up. It's time to say, I will become the best that God wants me to become on the face of the earth. There's something that God has packaged in me, and that way God has put in me will not be wasted. Like Joseph, I will fulfill destiny. Like Joseph, I will discover, I will develop, and I will deploy my individuality. These are the prison advantage. It's a place of preparation. It's a place of discovery. And it's a place of connection. Connection to God and connection to man. I'm too glad to share this word with you. I have this passion that I must see you in your God-given destiny. You must become all that God has ordained for you on the face of the earth. I want to encourage you, don't forget, like this video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to do this before you log out. Make sure you do it, and your life will never remain the same. I will see you in your destiny. God bless you.